गुरुं वैष्णव श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादे पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So welcome back to the Nectar of Instruction Bhakti Shastri study. Yesterday, if you remember, we discussed text 5. We began with the discussion on text 5 and what is the connection between text 4 and text 5. We saw based on Bhaktivinoda Thakur's analysis of the verses of Updeshamrit how from 5 to 8, Madhyamadikari Goswami's internal vision and development. How a Madhyamadikari deals externally and what are the bhakti rules he follows. And with that internal development, there is also, with that external dealings, there's an internal development. Because text 4 spoke about, what does association mean? Association means that you are doing these 6 activities, Shadvidhi Priti Lakshanam, Dadati Pratigranati, Guyam, Akhyati Prichati, Bhungte Bhojate Chaiva, Shadvidam Priti Lakshanam. So that how to now apply these 6 things with devotees and how a Madhyamadikari does. Madhyamadikari Trivid Vaishnav Sevan is spoken in text 5. We saw the connection from Prabhupada's commentary also. And then we began the discussion of the verse theme and the 3 definitions of Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama. We have discussed up till, I don't remember up till where we have discussed. Somebody can remind me. Now, before we went into the Kanishta, Madhyama, because we saw, Kanishta, Madhyama according to Bhagavatam, according to NOI, according to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Satyaraj, according to Sanatan Shiksha. So we went into the terminologies of Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama, which was a discussion which we had yesterday, and how I hope you are all clear about it. And then we started actually that one has to be careful to distinguish who is a karmi, who is a jnani, who is a yogi, who is a Kanishta devotee, who is a Madhyama devotee, and who is a Uttama devotee. So all this discrimination one has to apply. And then he has to meet with them appropriately according to their status. And Prabhupada says who is a Kanishta Adhikari, and then Madhyama, who is fully engaged, Bhajantam Mission, and Uttam is as per the definition, Nindadi Shunya Hridaya, and Bhajana Vigyam. So this is where we, I think, finished our discussion. Is it right? Can anyone confirm? Yesterday, this is where we ended our discussion. In paragraph 1 only, I think. we finished. Yes, Priyamataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dandavat Pranam. The last slide, what we did was that one must select proper persons with careful discrimination. Somewhere there.
That is the first line of paragraph 1. I think we have finished paragraph 1. Paragraph 2, I don't remember discussing. Okay. So let's now go to paragraph 2. Now, please carefully uh, try to understand, because we now know the terminologies of who is a Kanishta, who is a Madhyama, who is a Uttama, and how Prabhupada is dealing. So now text here we can go back. 2 and 3, paragraphs 2 and 3 speak about, I think I'll place it one here. Paragraph 2 and 3, Kanishta and Madhyama Adhikari based on Bhagavatam. So that's what Prabhupada is going to speak. One should not remain a Kanishta Adhikari, one who is situated on the lowest platform of devotional service and is interested only in worshipping the deity in the temple. So Prabhupada begins, saying that, uh, uh, a Kanishta is, he is worshipping the deity. That's it. So a Kanishta Adhikari's mentality, we have to understand the mentality of a Kanishta. Just like, in the Abrahamic religions, there is one scripture, the, Quran, there is one God, Allah, and one must follow one holy place, that is Mecca. And those who don't follow, everyone will go to hell. So similarly, Kanishta might have mentality that there is only Bhagavad Gita as it is. There is only one Guru, Srila Prabhupada, and there is only one God, Krishna. And those who are not doing this, all are karmis. So this kind of a mentality. And he sees what he thinks, that Krishna is only physical manifestation is in the deity, in one place, as in the deity in the temple. And that is all he can appreciate. This is a Kanishta mentality. And Prabhupada begins, he says, one should not remain on the Kanishta platform. One should not remain on the Kanishta platform, he says. And then he says, such a devotee is described in the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Archayam eva hare, pujam yah shraddaye hate, na tad bhakteshu chaneshu, sa bhakta prakrita smritaha. A person who is very faithfully engaged in the worship of the deity in the temple. Archayam eva hare, pujam yah shraddaya hate. But who does not know how to behave towards other devotees or people in general. Na tad bhakteshu cha anneshu is called a prakrita bhakta or a kanishadikari. He is called as a materialistic devotee. So this is how Prabhupada mentions. One therefore has to raise himself from the position of the kanishadikari to the platform of madhyamadikari. So Prabhupada repeatedly here in NOI, in the Bhagavatam, he mentions that one has to come at least to the platform of Madhyamadikari to make advancement in Krishna consciousness. If one remains on the Kanishta, then it is not a good situation. And the way to come from Kanishta to Madhyama is development of Shraddha. And that development of Shraddha will happen by systematically reading the Shastra, learning the Shastra from teachers, realized teachers, Shiksha Gurus, Diksha Gurus, and then applying it practically in their life. The Madhyamadikari is described in the Bhagavatam 11 to 46 in this way. Ishwaretad adineshu bhalishu dushachucha prem maitri kripaopeksha yah karoti sa madhyama. The Madhyamadikari is a devotee who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the highest object of love, makes friends with the Lord's devotees, is merciful to the ignorant, and avoids those who are envious by nature. So this is how Prabhupada mentions the Madhyama. So this is paragraph 2 and 3. So that's it. He mentions about the Madhyama and the Kanishta. Okay. Jitendra Khatri Prabhuji, you have a question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Just before few minutes, you said that that person is a Kanishta mentality who
Hmm.
is seeing only Krishna as a god and Bhagavad Gita is only the book,
No, no, who is seeing Krishna as God only in the temple.
as only in the temple.
He sees the Lord is only manifested in temple, not that he's manifested in everyone's heart. He's there in this creation. He doesn't have that broad vision. His vision is narrow.
No, and something you said that he believes only in Bhagavad Gita only. That also you
No,
said,
the
no?
mentality, I was just giving the example, just like, in the Abrahamic religion, somebody might say there is only uh, one scripture, that is Quran, there is only one God, Allah, and there is only one holy place, Mecca. And those who don't follow, they all will go hell. Similarly, he might have a mentality, there is only one scripture, that is Bhagavad Gita as it is. There is only one Guru who is Srila Prabhupada, and there is only what?
Yeah, actually, I was actually relating this with the Gita Mahatmya. In Gita Mahatmya, the last shloka is there, na?
Oh, yeah, see, it's
पूरे
not.
संसार में केवल एक ईश्वर हो, एक ही
That
मंत्र
is
हो.
not what we are trying to say, but he says that all are other karmis.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
his mentality is all these are karmis. So
Okay.
he doesn't appreciate that, there are other people who might be, inclined towards. He doesn't preach. That's why he cannot distinguish. He says, I'm and my relationship with my deity. Rest all, he doesn't care. And that is
Hmm.
what is, coming out here. Na tad bhakteshu chaneshu. He
But
doesn't
this type of an attitude we have observed in
see the
some of the
manifestation.
seniors also.
He doesn't see the manifestation of the Lord in the heart of his devotees, nor in the people in general. Chaneshu. So this
Okay.
is his mentality. That's what I was bringing out. This is
Okay.
little extremism. Sometimes it is extremism, you can say. You got the point?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, now let's go to paragraph 4. Now, paragraph 4 onwards, understanding the three kinds of Vaishnavas and offering respect as per Rib Goswami's definition in NOI. In NOI, how it is being presented, that's what Prabhupada is going to present here. Okay, based on now, he has given the definitions of Kanishta and Madhyama from the Bhagavad perspective, and we have now studied that Bhagavad perspective is based on vision, three kinds of Vaishnavas in Vaishnava society, and what is their levels you have seen here. So now let us go to paragraph 4. It's paragraph 4. Yeah. This is the way to cultivate devotional service properly. Therefore, in this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami has advised us how to treat various devotees. So this is the way to cultivate devotional service properly. How? As per Rupa Goswami. We can see from practical experience that there are different types of Vaishnavas. The Prakrit Sahajas generally chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, yet they are attached to women, money, and intoxication. Now, Prabhupada is, starting from the lowest rung of the ladder, the Prakrit Sahajas. They take the name of Krishna, but they are attached to women, money, and intoxication. Although such persons may chant the holy name of the Lord, they are not yet properly purified. Such people should be respected within one's mind, but their association should be avoided. Those who are innocent but simply carried away by bad association should be shown favor if they are eager to receive proper instructions from pure devotees. But those neophyte devotees who are actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master and are seriously engaged in carrying out the orders of the spiritual master should be offered respectful obeisances. Now, here there are, there are two. First case you have to understand here, the Prakrit Sajias. They chant, but they are attached to women, money, intoxication. They are not purified. So respect them within one's mind, but don't take their association. There are others who are innocent and they are carried away by bad association, and we should be eager, we should, if they are eager to receive proper instructions, then, they are fit candidates. That is kripa. We have to show kripa. But then he says, but those neophyte devotees, Prabhupada is using the word neophyte devotees, who are actually initiated. Now, what is this actually initiated means? This is second initiation. By the bona fide will and are seriously engaged in carrying out the orders of the spiritual master should be offered respectful obeisances. So this is the Madhyam Adhikari. This is the Madhyam Adhikari. A Madhyam Adhikari is still called as a neophyte because from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu perspective, he is entering into Bhakti. He is entering into Shuddha Sadhana Bhakti and he is qualified. Like the IIT example I gave, the breakup is first 1,000 ranks and somebody is, 500th rank. So it's quite in the intermediate level. Because you can see here, although he's a neophyte devotee, he is actually initiated. Actually initiated means yesterday we saw it as second initiation, and he's seriously engaged. And we should offer respectful obeisances. Dikshasti cheta pranatibish cha bhadanta isham. So now, please try to understand this chart. Madhyam Adhikari is dealing with three types of Kanishta Vaishnavas. They are Kanishta Vaishnavas. First is the Prakrit Sajias. Such people should be respected within one's mind, but their association should be avoided. The innocent. They are innocent, shown favor if they are eager to receive proper instructions from pure devotees. They are shown favor. Now, the neophyte devotees should be offered respectfully because they have taken initiation, but still they are considered neophyte. And neophyte from which perspective we will have to see that. From the Bhagavad perspective, they might be neophyte. From the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu perspective, because they are engaged in bhajan, they are actually initiated, they are second initiated, and they are seriously engaged. So like that, there are different levels. As I was mentioning yesterday, there can be somebody who is a Kanishta Madhyama, Kanishta Uttama. So this neophyte might be someone who is on the Kanishta. Where is it gone? Where is it gone? Yeah, here. He might be a Kanishtuttama also. Like that. I hope you got this point. Okay. So now let's go ahead. If you have any questions here. Any questions, any clarifications? Jitendra Khatri Prabhuji. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
The definition of Prakrit Sahajya generally chant Hare Krishna Mantra, yet they are attached to woman, money, and intoxication. So, in practical life, if we see, a majority of the devotees fall under this category. Either they are attached with women and money. Intoxication is not in their part, but they are more towards gaining money and attraction towards women. So, majority, I think, maybe fall into this category.
Yes,
How
yes.
you can?
I got your question. So basically, there is one category called as the Prakrit Sahajiyas. The Prakrit Sahajiyas is a Apasampradaya where they claim they are followers of Mahaprabhu and they consider that, Bhagavad Gita, all this philosophy is all bogus. We are very elevated, and they try to imitate Krishna's activities of the Ras Leela and all like that. But they are also chanting and they sometimes exhibit, these ecstatic symptoms artificially. They are also chanting Hare Krishna. And that's why Prabhupada is mentioning they're attached to women, wine, intoxication, and all illicit activities also. So for such people, Prabhupada says, because they're chanting Hare Krishna, we mentally offer respects, but we don't associate with them. Now there can be Prakrita Bhaktas. They can be actually initiated, but they might not be able to follow the regulative principles very strictly. They are attached to so much material things. So for such devotees also, we have to recognize them. And we also have to offer respects, but be at distance, not associate. Are you getting this point?
Yeah, it is very, very tricky thing actually to how to apply in the practical life. It is very,
Yeah.
very.
That's why we have to study the Bhaktivedanta purports. The Bhaktivedanta purports are deep like an ocean.
Yes, yes, yes. It is very deep, very hard. So, yes.
Yes, Sri Lalita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yesterday itself I had the question, but it slipped my mind to ask. Kanishta is okay. Kanishta Madhyama is okay. Kanishta Uttama, how can it be?
Kanishta
Because
Uttama
there'll be
as a
something common, right? From Sadhu Sangha to Anartha Nivritti, Kanishta is there. So little bit between Kanishta and Madhyama, something common can be there. But Kanishta is on top, Uttama is down. Then how can it be
Kanishta.
Kanishta Uttama? No, Kanishta. Even in the three, there are divisions we discussed, right? Kanishta Madhyama, Kanishta Uttama. Kanishta Madhyama is okay because there is some the transition spaces there. But Kanishta and Uttama, how they are far from each other, no?
Kanishta Uttama means he's a Kanishta, but in the Kanishta, he's on the higher level.
Oh,
I'll give you some example to understand. You'll have to pass lower KG and then upper KG and then go to first standard, right?
correct.
But somebody doesn't pass the upper KG and he's 1 or 2 years spending there.
Okay.
So although he's there only, he's experienced now, staying at that level. And
Okay.
in that way, he's more advanced, you can say.
Okay.
So like that, we can be in the Krishna consciousness for many years and we can be in the
But
platform.
okay, I understood this, Prabhu. Now, only if you're in Uttama Adhikari, you can go back to Godhead.
Pardon?
Only if you're Uttama Adhikari, you can go back to Godhead.
Only one who has attained prema can go back to Godhead. That is the criteria. One has to come to the platform of prema. Now, when you said Uttam Adhikari, Uttam Adhikari from which perspective I'll have to tell you, whether it is Bhagavad perspective or Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Because Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu perspective, Uttam Adhikari is a Adhikari to practice Bhakti.
Okay.
So that is again different.
Okay.
Whereas the Bhagavad perspective of Uttam Adhikari is one who has attained Bhava and Prema. Bhava and Prema. And
Okay,
somebody
Prabhu.
who attains the stage of Bhava means, he's close to Prema. That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
You have to understand. So that's how we have to understand. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So now let's go to the next. The next paragraph. Paragraph 5. Oh, 4 to 9 only deal with this. Okay, let's. Now, paragraph 5. In this Krishna conscious movement, a chance is given to everyone without discrimination of caste, creed, and color. Everyone is invited to join this movement, sit with us, take prasad, and hear about Krishna. When we see that somebody is actually interested in Krishna consciousness and wants to be initiated, we accept him as a disciple for chanting the holy name of the Lord. So here, Prabhupada is again very, very clear that Prabhupada once was giving an interview in Paris. Actually, he was discussing with a Sanskrit professor and who taught in a university. The professor was very young, but it was in his 30s, and he was a little proud of his knowledge. But basically, he was, quite a nice person and he was quite learned. And he asked Prabhupada, "Do you give Brahman Diksha?" Prabhupada said, "Yes, we give." "And do you initiate girls also?" I said, "We initiate also, And then suddenly this professor asked, "How many types of initiations or how many levels of initiation you have?" And Srila Prabhupada replied very interestingly. He said there are two levels of initiation. The first initiation into the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is experimental, he says. He says it is experimental. And then as he practices and by chanting Hare Krishna and he gets purified, then we give him the Gayatri Mantra. That is the second initiation. But then Prabhupada made it very clear. However, the first initiation, according to Srila Jiva Goswami, that is sufficient. Chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that is sufficient. If one follows this principle faithfully, then Harinam Diksha is sufficient to attain perfection. Of course, we'll discuss from the other perspective. So here it is experimentation. He is interested and he wants to be initiated, and Prabhupada says, we accept. Prabhupada doesn't say, I accept. We accept as well for chanting the holy name. And he should, now, given that commitment, the formalization of the commitment happens in the Harinam Diksha, that he vows to chant regularly and become purified. And with that purification, then becomes further qualified to take second initiation. But first initiation itself is sufficient for one to attain success. That's what perfection, Prabhupada also says that. So Prabhupada's statements have to be very carefully read and understood in the light of Shastra. Then Prabhupada says here, when we see someone is actually interested, then he says, when a neophyte devotee. So this person is a neophyte in the previous statement, is actually initiated and engaged in the dual service by the orders of spiritual Rishi, should be accepted immediately as a bona fide Vaishnava, and obeisances should be offered unto him. So, whom is Prabhupada speaking here about? Raise your hands according to NOI. Yes, Priya Mataji.
Is it second initiation, Brahman?
Yeah, it is second initiation, but he is what? Kanishta, Madhyama or Uttama?
Madhyama.
Yes, he is Madhyama. Dikshasti Chet Pranatabish Bhajantam Isham. He is engaged in devotional service and is actually initiated. That's what Prabhupada says. Now, the third category, please hear very carefully and try to understand. Out of many such Vaishnavas, one may be found to be very seriously engaged in the service of the Lord and strictly following all the regulative principles, chanting the prescribed number of rounds on japa beads, and always thinking of how to expand the Krishna conscious movement. Such a Vaishnava should be accepted as a Uttamadhikari, a highly advanced devotee, and his association should always be sought. Now, this is interesting. The standard that Srila Prabhupada is setting for Uttamadhikari is not really that high. That he's a Mahabhagavat who is on Bhava and Prema stage. And that is why I mentioned that we have to understand this Uttamadhikari can be from the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu perspective. Because he's got now proud Shraddha and is Shastra Yukta Nipuna. But from the stages, he might not be on the Bhava and the Prema stage, because that is a Mahabhagavat from the from the Bhagavat perspective. So this is not a very high standard, but still it is very, very exalted. Please remember that. Okay. So that is how Prabhupada is explaining. Now, here, Madhyamadhikari is dealing with bona fide Vaishnavas. When a neophyte is actually initiated and engaged in dual service by the orders of the spiritual master, he should be accepted immediately as a bona fide Vaishnava. Obeisance should be offered to him. Out of many such Vaishnavas, one may be found very seriously engaged in the service of Lord, strictly following the regulative principle, chanting his prescribed rods, always thinking of how to preach, should be offered respectful obeisances. This is how Prabhupada is saying. No? His advanced duty and his association, Ipsita Sangalabdu. Okay. Now, Prabhupada goes into further in the next paragraphs about the process of initiation. The process by which a devotee becomes attached to Krishna is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Diksha kale bhakta kare atma samarpan, sei kale Krishna tare kare atma saman. At the time of initiation, when a devotee fully surrenders to the service of the Lord, Krishna accepts him to be as good as he himself. Now, please mark this. दीक्षा काले भक्त करे आत्मसमर्पण सही काले कृष्ण तारे करे आत्मसमर्पण. Now, many have an understanding, or maybe I'm just clearing a misconception, that Diksha means actually the formal initiation which happens where you are given the either the first or the second, doesn't matter, where you are given the name and you are given the beads and you take vow before the spiritual master. But I'm asking you a question, all of you, many must be also initiated here. Do you feel that, at this point we are fully surrendered? When we are taking initiation, are we fully surrendered? Who would like to share? Who would like to share this? Anyone would like to share your thoughts on this? Nandini Mataji, we'll ask Nandini Mataji. What do you feel?
जी बिल्कुल नहीं.
Yes. So, this initiation is a beginning process. I'll just give an example, especially of a medical student. A medical student, he wants to go into medicine and he first has to study quite a lot, to crack the exam. And then when he cracks the exam, he goes into different universities, does a lot of study, investigation, and chooses one university. And that at that point, he becomes a student of that university. So that is like that initiation Diksha. Now, before entering the university, there was a lot of study he did, to give that exam. A lot of research he did. Which university? So similarly, before taking initiation, a lot of education we get. And then we also do a lot of research as to which spiritual master we should choose. And that time we are initiated. So initiation is beginning, the beginning process of surrender. And then as this medical student, 5 years, he studies medicine, he is further getting education on medical knowledge. And at last, what happens? He graduates from the medical college. But although he has got now this doctorate degree, but still he needs to work under an experienced doctor. And further with his practice, and when he gains experience, he has realized and is well known. That time, you can say that he's doctor in a true sense. Similarly, Diksha is an ongoing process. Diksha is Divya Jnanam. Prabhupada will bring out that. Diksha is an ongoing, it's a beginning. You have got some basic knowledge and you have done some research and chosen a spiritual master and you take initiation. It is the beginning. Then further you have to take Shiksha, education from the spiritual master or from the Shiksha gurus, and further make advancement. And then you have to, after hearing, you have to realize that knowledge. And that realization should lead to Sarva Dharman Paritejya. When you come to that point and you become Atma Samarpanam, at that time, Chaitanya Charitamrita is Sei Kale. At that time, means one is 100% surrender. Sei Kale Krishna Kare, Tare Atma Sama. So this is the right understanding of this verse. Now, Diksha or spiritual initiation explained in the Bhakti Sandarbha 283 by Srila Jiva Goswami. Divyam Jnanam Yato Dadyat Kuryat Papasya Sankasham Tasma Diksheti Sa Prokta Deshike Tattva Kovida. By Diksha, one gradually becomes disinterested in material enjoyment and gradually becomes interested in spiritual life. So this is how Prabhupada gives a very general explanation, but of course, word to word meaning and all, if you see, it has also another translation, but Prabhupada gives a very simple translation. Now, Diksha has been defined here by Jiva Goswami from the Sandarbhas. Now, among the devotees, kindly raise your hands who have not taken yet initiation. Raise your hands. Priya Mataji, Jitendra. Of course, I know because their legal names are here. Chakram Progenitor. Sri Lalita Mataji, this is your initiated name? No. Okay, so 4. So now, let's select Sri Lalita Mataji. Okay.
Prabhu,
From this,
I'm initiated. Sri Lalita Sumukhi Devi Dasi. I raised to say that I am initiated.
You're initiated. Okay, let's then take Jitendra Khatri Prabhuji. Okay. This is just to understand, that's why we are doing this. Now,
Yes.
based on this definition given by Jiva Goswami in the Sandarbhas, do you think you are initiated or not initiated?
Prabhuji, can you please repeat the definition? I was actually, for a second, my
Okay.
connection was lost
Divyam
actually.
Jnanam Tato Dadya. Divyam Jnanam means once you start getting transcendental knowledge, Kuryat
Yes.
Sankasham. What happens with the transcendental knowledge? All the sins get destroyed, or you become completely disgusted with material life.
Yes.
Tasma Diksheti Tasya Prokta. That is called as Diksha, according to the learned Tattva Kovida. So this is.
Yes.
So can you say whether you got initiation, yes or no?
Somewhat, I can feel that I am initiated. Somewhat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Initiation means initiating into the transcendental knowledge.
Yes.
When you came first time, attended the Bhagavad Gita course, and you started becoming disinterested in all the bad habits, you gave up, you started following the regulative principles.
Yes. Yes.
So there is Divya Gyan. You're getting Divya Gyan.
Yes. Yes.
Because of
Yes.
that Divya Gyan, Puryat Papasa Sankasham. You started chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra,
Yes.
and you gradually start getting purified and you give up all these bad habits and you start following the 4 regulative principles. So that's
Yes.
so Diksha. So Prabhupada mentions in one of his letters
Mm.
that I was first time in my life defeated by my spiritual master Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
Okay.
And he says that in my heart I accepted him as my spiritual master. So when we attain transcendental knowledge and that transcendental knowledge is impregnated in the heart and we start following the teachings of the transcendental knowledge through an authorized, it can be a Shravan Guru or a Diksha Guru or a Shiksha Guru or the Varta Pradashaka Guru, Path Pradaksha Guru,
Yes.
then that is also in one sense initiation because you are initiated into transcendental knowledge. So this
Yeah.
one should remember, and one should not be disheartened, though I've still so many years I'm practicing, but you can all observe that although we might not have taken formal first initiation, but with the practice of Krishna consciousness, we are able to give up so many habits.
Yes. Yes.
We
Prabhuji.
are able to lead a much better life compared to before coming to Krishna consciousness. So how? Because initiation has, Diksha has a very broad meaning. So this is what Prabhupada mentioned. We have
Yes.
practical examples of this, especially in Europe and America. Prabhupada is saying now the same thing here.
Yeah.
Many students who come to us, from rich and respected families quickly lose all interest in material enjoyment and become eager to enter into spiritual life. Although they come from very wealthy families, many of them accept simple living conditions that are not very comfortable. Indeed, for Krishna's sake, they are prepared to accept any living condition as long as they can live in the temple and associate with the Vaishnavas. When one becomes so disinterested in material enjoyment, he becomes fit for initiation by the spiritual master. So, now he's practicing, he has got Diksha in the form of, accepting the teachings, and he's getting purified and he's become disinterested in material life. So now he becomes qualified for first initiation. So that's what Prabhupada is now trying to say here. I hope you are getting this whole connection. This is a very, very, text 5 is one of the most difficult purports to understand. Okay. For advancement in spiritual life, Srimad Bhagavatam prescribes tapasya brahmacharena shamena damena cha. So you have to get purified. And, he must be ready to, practice austerity, celibacy, control the mind and body. And if he's prepared for spiritual enlightenment. So these are the prerequisites, tapasya brahmacharya. When a person is serious about accepting Diksha, he must be prepared to practice austerity, celibacy, and control the mind and body. If one is so prepared and is desirous of receiving spiritual enlightenment, Divagyanam, he is fit for being initiated. So here you can see, after we take up the Bhagavad Gita course, and then we start, getting up, coming to Mangalarti program, that is all tapasya we are doing. And then after practicing all this tapasya, then we become fit for initiation. Divyangam is technique called Tattva Vigyan, or knowledge about Supreme. Tad Vigyanartam Sa Gurum Eva Vigachet. So Prabhupada quotes that. When one is interested in transcendental subject matter of the absolute truth, he should be initiated. Prabhupada also speaks about this. Such a person should approach a spiritual matter in order to take Diksha. Srimad Bhagavatam also prescribes Tasmat Gurum Prapade Jigyasu Shreya. When one is actually interested in transcendental science of the absolute truth, he should approach a spiritual master. So again, Prabhupada is, emphasizing here. We might approach the spiritual master for many of our problems, many other consultations. But when we are serious to understand the transcendental science of the absolute truth, and we approach the spiritual master, then, that is the highest level. And that also to find is not so easy, rare. One should not accept a spiritual master without following his instructions. This is a very, very important point Prabhupada is mentioning. And one of the sannyasis was sharing that he, along with his disciples, were in Vrindavan, and they all had to go back to America West. So they had a flight from Delhi to US. And they all, took a taxi from Vrindavan to Delhi, and they came to the Delhi airport. And then suddenly one of the disciples, Brahmachari, told his spiritual master, I have forgotten my very important book in Vrindavan. I would like to go and get it back. And then they told him, the spiritual master told, like, see, there are some other devotees who will be coming after a few days. You can inform them and then they can get it back to the West. So then he insisted, no. There was time because they had come in the evening and, late night, early morning, like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, the flight was. So he insisted, he was very attached to the book. No, I want to go and get it back. Then, the spiritual master and other devotees explained, see, going, it is going to be again long journey. It is going to cost you. And they're again coming back. And if you come back and you're late for the flight and you miss the flight, what about your luggage? Who will carry your luggage? Your luggage will be unattended here. What to do about it? And he was just not ready to listen. And he somehow got the taxi, paid a high money, and left. And I don't know after that what happened. So basically, the sannyasi was narrating that, if the disciple is not ready to follow the instructions, then one should not accept a spiritual master. Very high standard proper setting. Nor one should accept a spiritual master just to make a fashionable show of spiritual life. Oh, you know, sometimes people high in the society, they say, I have this spiritual master as I have this master as my spiritual master because they also want to be famous, that is the reason. So that we should not accept, he says. One must be jikyasu, very much inquisitive to learn from the bona fide spiritual master. So Prabhupada is saying not just jigyasu, he says very much inquisitive. And then Prabhupada says the inquiries one makes should strictly pertain to transcendental science. Jigyasu Shreya Uttamam. But most of the times, the disciples, those who are initiated also, come to the spiritual master. I have this health problem, I have that problem, I have, my family problem, I have my business problem. All these kind of jigyasas they come, but they don't come with the jigyasu Shreya Uttamam. The word Uttamam refers to that which is above material knowledge. Tama means the darkness of this material world, and Uttam means transcendental. Generally, people are very interested in inquiring about mundane subject matters, but when one has lost such interest and is simply interested in transcendental matters, he is quite fit for being initiated. Prabhupada is, confirming our experience also. When one is actually initiated by a bona fide spiritual master, and when he seriously engages in the service of the Lord, he should be accepted as a Madhyamadikari. So one might have taken first initiation, one has taken second initiation, but what is the test and the proof of it? That these are the proofs that he is very jigyasu, very much inquisitive, and he only inquires pertaining to transcendental knowledge, and he follows the instructions of the spiritual master, and he is lost all interest in mundane subject matters. That means, and is seriously engaged in the service of the Lord. That means he has come to the Madhyamadikari platform. Not that somebody who takes second initiation automatically he'll come to the Madhyamadikari platform. This is a misconception. Please remember that. Okay. Fine. Now, I think this is the next topic of discussion. Oh. Understand the basis of chanting of the holy name also is paragraph 9. So I'm considering. Okay. Okay. So up till here, any questions? Should have been till paragraph 8, I think. Rajat Shahi Prabhuji, yes. One question, is it necessary to remain in temple if his home is near to temple also? Network problems. I really don't understand your question, Prabhuji. Please.
Probably like if one gets initiated, does he has to stay in the temple, or he can we go out also? So he has to remain 24/7 in the temple premises, or like he can do his activity also apart from uh, temple.
No, you see, we have to basically understand some fundamental things that, you can be 24 hours in the temple, but your consciousness is about material things. What is happening in the material world? What is happening in the cricket match? And you can
No, not like
be at home, and you might be seriously considering, about what is today Gaur Aarti going on, and let me sit and sing here the Gaur Aarti. And let me also do my work so that I can earn and
yes.
maintain Krishna's temple. It is a matter of level of consciousness. You have to understand.
Okay.
It's a matter of level of consciousness. It's not just an external thing.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, it is around 8:11, and I think we will have to go a little slow here, and I will continue this discussion tomorrow also. Of course, I think it is here paragraphs. I'm going very slow with this purport because this is, it's very important for us to understand. This is maybe paragraph uh, 8, I think, not 9. And this is 9 and 10. Maybe some mistake or in the Veda base, something like that. So we'll continue this discussion. It's already 8:15. We'll continue this discussion tomorrow also. But before I end, any questions, any clarifications? Okay. So we will stop here. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Upadeshamrit ki jai. Shri Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai. Hare Krishna.